A sumptuous setting for a meeting aimed at rekindling a strained relationship. France and Russia have been at loggerheads in recent years over issues including Syria and Ukraine. But at the Palace of Versailles outside Paris, the French president said he'd had a frank exchange with his Russian counterpart and he hoped they could work together.
This
was the first exchange between us, and I think it was an extremely frank and direct exchange with lots of things that were said. On my side, I said completely what I thought about different situations with Mr. Putin. There's a part I can't tell you because it's a part of diplomatic relations and good politics, but I think we've said everything to each other. We have some disagreements, but at least we have shared them, and above all, we can see how to build on a practical level joint action.
President Vladimir Putin said the two leaders had discussed fighting what he called terrorism as a priority.
In regards to Syria, our position is well known, and I explained it again to the President. Its essence is that terrorism cannot be fought by destroying the sovereignty of countries that are already fighting against internal problems of conflict. But I'm sure that together we can unite to fight against terrorism and achieve positive results. But I repeat, we can triumph only if we apply these joint forces on a practical level and together act against this.
There were no major announcements or breakthroughs from this meeting, but in many ways that was never the point. This was more about the two presidents getting to know each other in a more informal setting. It wasn't a state visit. Putin was in Versailles to open an exhibition celebrating 300 years of diplomatic ties between France and Russia, a reflection of more cordial times after recent disagreements. France was one of the main countries to push for EU economic sanctions on Russia over Moscow's seizure of Crimea. Last year, former French President François Hollande said Russia's bombing of the Syrian city of Aleppo constituted a war crime, prompting Putin to cancel a scheduled visit to Paris. Some analysts say it was vital to move forward.
There's a lot of global issues that they need to work together on. The crisis in Syria, the crisis of terrorism, the international economy, the environment. So it's in their mutual interest to try and establish a working relationship, although it's strained by the fact that they don't see eye to eye on many issues.
The meeting came just weeks after Putin had backed Macron's presidential rival, the far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, and Macron's campaign team accused Russia of a hacking attack to destabilise his candidacy. Standing beside Putin, Macron said Russian state-backed news outlets like Sputnik were propaganda tools. For the French president, this was an opportunity to show that despite his youth and lack of diplomatic experience, he would not be intimidated by the Russian leader. Natacha, Butler, Al Jazeera, Versailles.